sharing, verbalizing out loud. I remember when I was in North Carolina visiting family a couple years ago, and outside or in the back, doing the seafood boil, and all the laughing and talking and enjoying everybody. Just a beautiful time. And then with the jokes came light skin, black, dark skin, right? And I can see we grew up calling each other sister. It's my cousin. She was too late when she was like, don't say that around Emily, in other words, right? She was too late. And so, I just thought about that today. And I also thought about how I love racism, the words and all that stuff that surround it. I love the prejudices and all the words and situations that surround that stuff, right? And then I was like, I wonder why I never got into diversity and inclusion type stuff. And I started thinking, and I've often wondered that with the different programs that they offer and stuff like that throughout the years. And I was like, it boils down to, it felt phony. Something didn't seem right about it. And it never impressed me to be a part of those groups. I don't know if I felt as though it was like being put in a box and having to believe the way they believe, or it was like a soft handoff, like some type of passive way of looking at things. And so I never got involved with that. But there is something about, race and color and colorism and prejudice and blah, 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 that gets my blood boiling. And then after one time I was like, well, I can't get into this diversity and inclusion thing. I did try a few groups years ago, in different jobs they have, recognize the Black, recognize the Hispanic culture, heritage, Indian heritage, blah, blah, blah. And that was cool to learn about the different dances, the different clothing people wear. But I never really indulged and got involved too much. Always thought and did my own thing. And so fast forward, what I really have always been feeling is that it's more to it than just sticking to a particular race, a particular language, a particular color within the race. It was always more to it than that. It was like everybody have their own individuality, own way of thinking, even though a lot of it can be group thought, because we are human beings, and it's easier, and it depending on how we feel in our own background, to go along with groups, particular groups of people, and mimic and copy and go deeper into different groups. And so I just couldn't put my finger on it, but I know and have always felt something just wasn't right, And then I got more of an understanding within the past recent couple of years And I said, that is so true. Yeah, society plays a big role in it. Where you come from plays a big role in it. But it boils down to, it's huge, without just saying you black person, you white person, you Indian person, you Puerto Rican person, you Mexican person, and then you're like, well, all those groups from up north, all those groups from down south, all those groups from the West Coast, you know, but we still go group by color. And I was so happy as I learned about it's the personalities and behaviors that played a big role, which is true. Like, I couldn't put my finger on it, but I know it's about personalities and behavior, right? So everybody that's my skin color is not the same as me. Everybody that speaks a different language than me is not, I don't know. But what I do know, and I believe, and I feel, and I have experienced through my time in this earth, it's about how someone consistently behaves. Now, it is not to say that, another thing is, don't get upset when people are not there where you are in your thinking and believing yet, or they may never be, or they may continue to hold on to their beliefs. Again, we're all different. You know, we're all human, we're all different. And once I think, and I have experience, is learning these different personalities and behaviors. It's not just like a one-time act up. It's not like a one-time snap and hurt somebody's feelings. It's not like a onesie, twosie, just being a jerk. It's more of a consistent feel. You can feel it when it's consistent on how they act, how their makeup is, how they believe when they are by themselves, when they are conversating with other people, when they are nonverbal, not communicating with other people. Their whole makeup of how they are. And sometimes this can really hurt because, you know, with me, you know, you really love people and you're like, man, I can't believe you're like that, but I still like you. And it makes it easier when it's not somebody you're taking home and you have to sleep with them every night and you're doing duties with them and having kids with them and blah, blah, blah. So it's easier when it's a workplace partner, a business partner, a neighbor, because you don't have to take them home, you know, swap fluids, blah, blah, blah. And so it can be hard also if it's not someone that's close to you, family member, spouse, significant other, or whatever, child, mother, father. That can be hard as well when it's on the outside, but it's easier. And then I have had to learn how to deal with these different behaviors according to my behavior, according to what makes me feel good, according to what I want out of the situation, according to what I need out of a situation for other people as well as can be for me. Like in the workplace environment, to get things done, you know, in the neighborhood to get things done, things of that nature. And so race, prejudice, this, that, and the other. And you know, quite a few times I've also experienced, I was like, man, they're not even the same color as me, but they act like me, they think like me, they believe like me, I feel good with them. Or they act totally different than me, and I feel good with them. They don't make me feel horrible. And I think that's a key too, is how do you feel around that person? You know, that's the big key. And I just wanted to share that today. Like, it's a beautiful thing when you start to be able to feel certain situations and certain people and know how you are affecting them and how they are affecting you. But looking at the way the world is going now,